Bonjour and wagwan. My name is Quentin, and I am art educator at the Art Gallery of Ontario, also known as the AGO. The land that the AGO is on is Mississauga Neshaba Territory, also known as Mississauga. It's also governed by a treaty between the Mississauga of the Credit and the Canadian government. Toronto, the city that the AGO is located in, is Mississauga Neshaba Territory. It's also been occupied by other Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat Confederacies. Now, this land acknowledgement that I just shared with you is not only important to me, but also to the AGO, as it's a gesture to show that we are constantly working towards improving our relationship and the ways that we coexist in the space that we share and that we call home. So wherever in the world that you are, I want to thank you for joining us today, as I will be sharing with you an art piece from the Art Gallery collection that I personally feel like connects to a play that's being shown at the Soul Pepper Theater by Debbie Young and Anita Africa, entitled She, Mami Wata, and the Pussy Witch Hunter. Not only because Debbie Young is of Jamaican ancestry, but specifically what drove me to picking this picture is these 5 women and their countenance and the stories that they tell. My great grandma, her name is Mama Sue. She was born during this time period, and I recall her telling me that most women during this time period often had to do really hard laborious work, even if they were cooks or maids or field workers. And when I look at this image, 2 words comes to me: wisdom, or wise, and courageous. Mainly because to do that type of work, you have to kind of know how to preserve your energy and to be wise about the work that you're doing, as it's quite laborious and quite difficult. This was also still under colonial rule by the United Kingdom, and even though slavery roughly ended 30 years prior to this date, the type of work that people had to do to make a living didn't ease up since that time. And so up until independence of Jamaica in 1962, the time that women had working in the work field was a quite difficult one, as my great grandmother would tell me, from the scars that she had working in some of these monocrop system, specifically cutting cane or cutting plantain, or just carrying different agriculture vegetations from the fields to the marketplace or wherever it need to be. And so I'm curious to know what 2 words comes to you when you look at this art piece. And I want to encourage you to write it down. So I'm going to write down wise and courageous. And I want you to imagine that you can travel back in time to when this photo was taken. And I want you to think about which one of these women do you feel connected to, or would you maybe hand a note of thank you to? And when you decide who that is in your mind, for me, it's a short woman in a dark dress. As for me, she kind of reminds me of my great grandmother. And I want you to go back to the 2 words that you wrote. For me, again, it's wise and courageous. And at the top of the page, I want you to write, thank you for being. And I want you to imagine that you handed this paper, this note, to that woman. And for me, I would hand it, like I said, to the dark-skinned short woman in the middle. For my great-grandmother, who really very much was the matriarch of my family, I don't think I ever got a chance to say thank you to her for all the hard work that she had to endure, and for all that she is and all that she was that allowed me to be here today. And so I want to encourage you to pass that note to someone who is important to you in real life. And I want to encourage you to one day come to the Art Gallery of Ontario and see this art piece, and share with us what words comes to you when you see it in person. And I hope you get to see the play, and feel free to share with us your note that you came up with.